computer. Hey family, how y'all doing? Welcome back to this tornado we call Just Talking to You. I'm your girl Shay Boogie, coming through, sprinkling a little sunshine. And I'm not here alone, of course. I'm with my brother Ren. Say what's up, word?
What's up, everybody? And boy, do we got a storm brewing. I think this may be a class 4 tornado or a class 5.
It's a class something, sir.
Yeah.
So we'll get through. How about we save the black excellence to the end so we could go on and jump right on into all the juice, because I'm telling you, I'm drooling for all this juice we got to this.
Hey, look at you. I like juice.
Listen, let me tell you. And before we go on, we're going to leave with the disclaimer. These are alleged. The items we discuss, although they may have happened, we are going to say that we allegedly. Okay, so here, that's our disclaimer, allegedly. So we're going to leave with that just to cover ourselves a little bit. I will tag that at the beginning of the video as well. But I digress. Do you feel protected, sir? I feel
I'm always protected.
Well, there you go. So
you know what I mean? So you know.
Well, I'm gonna add a little extra blanket to it.
Hey, that's it. That's why James Brown said it's a man's world, but it ain't a thing without a woman touch. So you better let her add that layer of protection.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. So let's get into the juice. Where would you like to go first? We got 3 juicy topics we're going to talk about. So what would you like to lean into first?
I would like to lean on that on Russell Simmons first. Let's go after that first.
Let's do it, because oh my goodness. Okay, so this week Aoki Lee Simmons posted on her timeline a muted father of her video, and in a muted video of her father. There you go. And in the video, he was upset. It looked like he was yelling. I'm gonna say he was allegedly upset and yelling because the video was silent, but you could kind of tell by his facial expression and his mannerism that he was a little unhappy. So the source of the unhappiness is his lawsuit with Kamora Lee. Now, if we want to give background, Kamora and Russell back in the day, even after they got divorced, they always gave us the strong family front vibe. You know what I'm saying? Where he was, she was. They had businesses together. They were co-parenting together. They were taking trips together. She would invest in his businesses. So they gave a strong family front. Well, here recently, there's a lawsuit going, Russell against Kamora. And now it's coming out that he's been kind of verbally abusive towards his children and not really being involved in his kids' lives. So what do you feel about that so far, sir?
Well, a video with no sound, you don't know what we're saying. So whenever a person posts a video of somebody being mad, that means he could have been telling the truth about some bullshit you doing, because you are his daughter.
Right.
So we don't know about that.
Right.
As far as because the father don't speak the truth to his daughter, period. Period, point blank. Every father will. And even if it comes to, because I speak to mine in an aggressive nature depending on the situation. I won't call her outside her name. That's something I don't get down with.
Right.
However, depending on what it calls for, it depends on the reaction reaction that you get out of me. So in those situations, I'll always say, don't light the fuse on the bomb if you don't want it to go off.
But we've been shown, because she posted receipts, that he does call her out her name, call her stupid, puts her down, didn't want her going to college. Like, she's the youngest I think African American woman to graduate from Harvard, I believe. Aoki. So I mean, the girl got skills, is very intelligent. So why, as a father, would you sit there and call your kid names and be that verbally abusive and block their future?
Well, I will say this. How old is Russell Simmons?
Russell Simmons is up there. I'm gonna say gently mid to late 60s, I guess.
I'm thinking he more along the lines of damn near 80.
Well, let's find out.
Yeah, yeah. Now, if that is the case, what I'm thinking, that particular generation of fathers actually talk to their kids that way.
Now, let's see. He's 65.
He's 65.
He's only 65.
Right. Well, he's knocking on 70.
All right.
Right. So that puts him about 16, 17 years old enough to be my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, with that being said, that particular generation of men actually talk to their kids that way.
Okay, but here's,
and I'm not condoning it. I'm not
okay.
saying it's
Okay.
right. I'm not
Okay.
saying it's right. Let me put that disclaimer out there, because
Thank
that's
you.
something I wouldn't personally do.
Okay.
You understand? And then I wouldn't do that. And then there's a lot of men that don't know you can't speak to your daughter like they were boys. The things you can say to a boy, you can't say to a girl. The
And,
things you can say to a girl, you can't say to a boy.
right.
You understand what I'm saying?
I got
So you might be able to call your son, like, man, what are you doing? Is you stupid? And they not take offense to it because they out here jumping off of a roof.
right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you can't say that to a girl, because how many girls really gonna jump off a roof?
Right. Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
There are some, because it was some that grew up with me that were tomboys. So when I got called stupid for jumping off the roof, they did too, because they was doing it too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that particular generation of men didn't tame their tongue to their women or their children. And they were very aggressive with the belt.
Yeah.
And punishments and things like that. So that's you gotta think about the age gap between him and Kimura.
Yeah, there is a huge gap right there.
And actually he bought her. So what did we think would happen in the long run?
Right. Well, so here's my thing. All of that, what you said, I agree with. However, I think that being as grown as Russell is and being a parent with girls, I would think at some point he would, think to maybe tone that back. But see, the problem with Russell Simmons is that he has been in a powerful position for so long that I think he just kind of mixed them together. You know what I'm saying? Like, you may have one tone at work, you should have a different tone at home, especially when you're dealing with girl children, and don't think I'm not excusing it for any child. I'm gonna say that again. In general, you should have a different tone when you walk through the door. And I think he's probably even a little more aggressive because of being from New York. You know what I'm saying? Because in New York, you kind of got to roll with a different mentality. So
Right.
I think with all that in the he created the perfect storm,
Right.
And over the years, though, he really should have went to counseling and not just this guru yoga thing that he's doing. No disrespect towards yoga, but it's not working for him in this case if this is how he continues to talk to his children, you know? So so with this lawsuit, so Kimora came back and said, she loves her kids and they always had a home front, and a couple things came up about Russell. One of them was that I don't know if I should say that there was a question about his sexuality.
That's something we already knew, though.
Is it?
Yeah, I've been knew that. Who didn't know that?
Me.
Oh, okay. So you can't look at the money and the glamour. It's like I've been saying for years. If it look like a duck and quack like a duck, it's a duck.
So do we think Russell is hitting for the other team? Is that the way we got to success? That's what
he's switch hitter.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, if you don't like girls anyway.
Okay. Now here's another question. I just looked on Wikipedia for this. Kimora alleges that Russell is broke. Do we think Russell is broke?
Look, regardless of what woman it is, whenever you break up with a woman, she always says you broke and got a little dick. So you got to take that shit with a grain of salt.
But, okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So as a man, I take that as a grain of salt because that's something that every woman say when it's over.
But it's not like it's fresh over. They have been divorced for years. Kimora has been a business partner to this man. So far as we know, she hasn't publicly came out and said anything negative about him or any of her other kids' dads. She has always, all three dads have interacted. All three dads know each other. All three dads have taken the trips. The kids all the kids, and she has 5 of them, have been around Russell. So she doesn't necessarily have a reason to talk bad about him until recently when this lawsuit came out. So could it be true that Russell could be broke? Because I read in Wikipedia, Wikipedia, it said he's worth $340 million. Could he be broke?
That don't sound broke to me.
It does, but it's
define broke. You know, right? But define broke, because see, men and for me, this is my point of view, my perspective. Men and women, we define broke as 2 different things. Like if a woman were to get with me and say, I'm a millionaire. I got $1 million in the bank when she get with me, right?
Right.
We break up and I only got 250,000. What is she gonna say?
You broke.
But am I broke?
No. All
right, then.
250,000.
But you're talking about a man that owned Def Jam and did Run DMC.
But that's
he'll never go broke.
Ago. I mean,
the royalties gonna run in forever. He'll never be broke.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I mean, all the royalties still running in like they used to, though. Like, does he own the masters to Run DMC, Curtis Blow, all of them? I would think by now that since he sold Def Jam, that a lot of those artists went back and collected their masters. Therefore, the royalties are going to them. Like, I'm pretty sure that Run DMC, for instance, they went back and got their masters. So they may own them. So Russell wouldn't be collecting royalties. It would be Run and DMC and all that. I don't know their names. I'm sorry. Run DMC.
What about
They would
right
get
for
it.
Def Comedy Jam? Def Comedy Jam. Russell Simmons' name was on Def Comedy Jam.
Russell Simmons' name was on it, but it doesn't get played like that.
I mean, look, yeah, it do. Anytime you look up and somebody's posting a clip of one of them, and I see them all the time on social media,
Okay.
that's a royalty payment going over there.
Okay, so fact, did not know that. So okay, he's
and like if you were to go on YouTube and it's there, those views and all that pays him.
Okay.
So
that's a great point.
He might have had, like, let's say 300, he might have had 700 million. Now he down to 3.
Okay.
So like I said, and if it's $1 million down to $250,000, you broke.
Right.
Or if you got a few failed business ventures, you're broke.
Right.
But I'm not literally broke. That's figuratively speaking.
But I would think that if Kimora says that, I would think she would be careful about saying that, because that could be a form of slander, right? So I would hope that honestly she wouldn't be talking out the side of her neck without some type of foundation, because both of them are alleging that he has had to come stay with Kimora at some point.
Okay. I mean, he may be, and this is just me once again speculating.
Right.
He may very well be not where he, like, say for instance, if, like, even I'm dropping down the numbers that we can really get to, $1 million.
Right.
I may be in this $250,000 home because I'm a millionaire, but now that I'm down to $250,000, can I afford to stay in that home any longer? No.
Right. He could be what is that? Cash poor, but not,
asset. Remember this,
poor.
right? This life is, you got to remember, when, like, on Wikipedia, when they show you that, they're talking about assets.
Mm-hmm.
Things that you purchased that got value to it that you can sell back. Right. They're not basically talking about cash on hand. None of this really deals on cash on hand. It's about assets. Like, say for instance, I buy you a pair of diamond earrings, and you get a what's that called? Appraisal, and it appraises for higher than what I actually paid.
Okay.
That's the purpose of having your jewelry appraised, so you know if you got a good deal. So if the day comes and you ever want to sell it, you're not gonna sell it for what you paid for it. You're gonna sell it for what it's worth.
Right.
So when they talk about assets, they talking about what the things he have appraised to, what is actually worth, not what he actually paid for it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So that's just, and like I say, this is not me taking any particular side in it.
We just talking. That's what it is.
Just talking. So, because I know people fall off every day.
Right.
Because they'll call Donald Trump broke because he filed bankruptcy a few times. But bankruptcy don't mean you broke. That just means you're not paying nobody.
Right. You're trying to protect your assets. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they can't come over there and take them diamond earrings off of you that I bought.
Exactly.
So that's basically all it is. But me personally, whenever it's somebody that used to deal with each other, I particularly don't listen to the slander that comes up. Because those are emotions and the love that didn't work speaking.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I've learned that about life. So I don't particularly get involved in it when it goes to that level. I don't pick a side, whether it's male or female. I don't pick a side on that. Now, one thing I was gonna say this from when I watched her video, What I didn't like is when she said he tried to get me to take his side and he's mad at me because I won't take his side.
I was
Adult.
just finna get into that.
Putting your kids in adult situations.
Right. I was just finna get into that. So
Like when Drake said, when he went off on Kobe's wife when she was divorcing him and was like, was you with him shooting in the gym? Guess what? Them kids wasn't with you when you made that deal.
right.
So you shouldn't even be trying to get them to why like what I look like trying to get my daughter to pick a side between me and her mom.
Right.
Nah, they need balance. They need both sides.
Yes, because regardless of what y'all are going through, it should not involve the children. And even if they grown, even if they old enough to understand what is on the internet and or they can pull it up on their own and look at it, you shouldn't involve them. Leave them alone. They don't need to, they need to be able to have a safe haven in both parts of their family, dad's
Right.
side and mom's side. You know,
Right.
I'm still your child. I'm still
Right.
going to look to you for, adult advice, love in general, which,
Right.
okay. So at one point in the video, Aoki tells a story of how she was in a foreign country and her credit card limit was spent. She had like $200 on the car and the car froze up. And she called her dad allegedly and asked him to put some money on her car. And he told her, no, be careful down there in that city or whatever, just kind of snarky refused to put money on her card. Oh, what he said was, my bad. Let me re-roll that. So she asked him for the money. What he said was, I'll put money on your card if you tell your mom to not sue me. That's what he said.
I don't agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
If you that's what I'm talking about. You putting a child in an adult situation.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Fuck that, man. You can go make that money again, pay that bitch and move on.
And at the end of the day, your child is stuck in a foreign country. Now, mind you, this is a rich kid. You know what I'm saying? Well, her parents got money. So there technically shouldn't have been no problem with, if I'm calling you as a parent, you should be able to help me out, especially if I'm in a foreign country. What if she didn't, what if she was in a spot where she couldn't keep making calls? What if her cell phone had to die? There's just too many things that could go wrong in a foreign country. So if she's calling you, say, hey, put some money on my card. I'm really legit in a bad, I really legit need some money. You, as her father, should have said, okay, baby, I got you. Give me 5 minutes and I'm going to call you back and make sure you good.
Depends. It depends. It depends. And you know what it depends on?
What does it depend on?
How much is he paying in child support?
Oh, no. This baby is 20 years old. Child support, one, doesn't pay into it. But that's
Yes,
not
it does.
even...
If she's in college, it pays all the way up through there.
He's not paying child support. Like, he stopped money.
I mean, okay, but I didn't know that. I said, what if he pays child support?
But even if he paid child support, your child is calling you from a total foreign country. Why does the fact that you pay child support factor into the point of your child is in trouble? That should not even be an issue.
It shouldn't be. But let me explain to you why. That letter that a male gets, or whoever is deemed as the party that has to pay, your parental rights get revoked with that letter. Like right now, I am not my daughter's father.
Okay.
Per the letter I am not legally liable for her as a father. I'm not saying it's right, but that's what they do. And they say that, oh, you pay this amount, and anything else you pay, anything else you do other than this is a gift.
Okay.
So there are a lot of percentages of men, when you want to know the beef that's going on, it's that damn letter. Now, I particularly were one, I've always been one, I'll break the law. Fuck you. You can never tell me what's mine. But legally, oh no, my parental rights gone. They were signed away by her mother.
Well, this baby, that to me, and this is just to me, sometimes you gotta put that aside. Your child called you. Now, it's not like she called you and said, hey, Dad, I want these sneakers. Hey, Dad, buy me this jacket. Of course, that's not it. You don't need this. I'm sure you got a closet full of clothes. But the fact that she was in a foreign country and you told her no, she called you as a man, as her father, as her protector, to give her some money
totally
so that
agree.
she is safe.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I was just giving a different perspective of what a lot of men are actually looking at.
And
A
I
large
understand
percentage.
it. And I understand it because
To
the
where it's
child
like,
support
and
system.
it drives a wedge. And it's like, oh, it's a lot of men that'll never do nothing other than pay that damn support order. And I mean, if out of all the men that are on that number gonna be over 50% of the men that won't do shit else but pay what they supposed to pay.
And I get that. I totally agree because I've talked to people and seen for myself how the child support system is a mess, and it does wedge anger maybe, or it's a wedge between the mother, the father, and the child. Totally
That
get
part.
that. Totally get that. But sometimes as adults, again, we should put our pride to the side and do what's right for the kid. Now, I know there's instances where moms are calling and using the kid as a weapon. Totally understand that. Calling, hey, I need $100 more. Hey, you need to pay this, you need to pay that. No, you got that child support for that. But it may be times when that child support may need a little extra. And
well, when you
as the
decide
parent,
that's what you give up, though. You
well,
give up the extra when you put the man in.
and I get that, but sometimes, even with that being said, sometimes it requires a little more.
It does, and I totally agree with what you're saying, because I particularly was one that said, okay, that's what that bitch get. That don't count on, because I don't even know if my daughter even touching that.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and I do mean bitch with a capital B. You understand what I'm saying? Now, so now, me personally, I still paid for college. My daughter couldn't call me and say, hey, I need, and I not do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because once a person show me a snake, they're a snake. I'll never count on you to, even if you are my BM or my wife, but if you show me you a snake, I'll never count on you to really take care of my seed the way it's supposed to, because you have hate for me.
Right.
You understand? Once you have hate for me, then you got hate for me. You still got animosity for my seed too.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have hate for the tree, hate for the tree, but love the fruit.
Right. And I obviously that's true, because Russell has a problem with Kimora, and it is blinded him to his kids.
Exactly. So you can't let the other parent deter you from doing your job. You can't let the government do it. You can't let nobody do it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Now, if he really wanted her to say that, then all you have to do is buy her like you bought her mama food.
Well, I don't think.
And when I say buy, she needed some money. All right, baby, here it comes.
But it's not even that, though. At this point, realistically, you should not ask your kids to take sides, because really they shouldn't have to. They should be able to feel comfortable acknowledging both parents. That
Right.
lawsuit has nothing, zero to do with your kids.
Right.
But hold on, I'm sorry.
You good. You good. It does not have anything to do with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So with that being said, can't you see now that that's like a female tendency to do that?
But it's
So
not.
when you
Oh, well, what do you mean by a female tendency to keep the
use
kids away from the dad, or make
no,
the
to
kids
use the
choose a
child to
side?
weaponize the child. That's a female tendency.
Right. And I'll
That's what I'm
acknowledge.
saying. That's not a manly or a manly way of going about things.
Right. And I acknowledge that there are some women out there who definitely will use a kid against the father, but either way you look at it, it does not make it right.
It doesn't make it right.
Right,
And
because
when I was saying female tendency, remember we was questioning sexuality earlier?
yeah.
It
You're not
look like a
right.
duck and quack like a
You're
duck.
not
It's gonna
right.
be a
You're
what?
not right.
It's gonna
Right,
be a
right.
duck.
Oh my God, you're not right.
Certain things men ain't gonna do.
Alleged. This is all alleged, people.
It's alleged, but real spill is certain things men not gonna do. A man always knows a daughter needs his mom, needs her mama.
Right. Obviously.
Period.
And as a father or as a person, you should, at the end of the day, you should protect your kids. And involving them in y'all's business is not protecting them. Trying to make her turn her back on her mother is not protecting them.
Right.
Keeping
Right.
them out of y'all business, that's how you protect them. Speaking to them in ways where they're comfortable around you, that's protecting them. Not all this verbal abuse. Like, this young lady is having panic attacks whenever he calls her phone. She's had to block him from calling her. That's how bad it is. That's too much.
That's too much.
That is too
I
much.
will say that's too much. You know what I mean? And it's certain things I can't condone. So when I'm actually talking, I'm just trying to, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. You know what I mean? My words aren't a fact on this because I'm not in that situation.
Nope, it's just alleged. We talking, but yeah, I mean,
I
Russell.
just, I don't know what's going on in this day and time, but even with her though, I don't even condone her taking that shit to social media.
No, but I think he did it first, and she had to come back and kind of talk about it. Because again, Kamara does not generally post her business online. She usually like posts maybe, picture of her and the kids, they're out somewhere, da da da. But she generally does not go on the gram and put her business out there.
Well,
So
why would she say she told him not to post pictures of them no more?
well, I mean, it could be the fact that him going off on the daughter and giving her panic attacks, you know what I'm saying? Maybe her seeing that with them together was triggering. Especially if
And this
it's
is
a
why I'm
lie.
a believer. This is why when I'm a believer of once you break up, you have to separate. You go do something else, the other party go do something else.
But you can't necessarily do that with kids, and
But
again,
what I'm saying, we got to realize this, right? The true definition of co-parenting is two people that live together. You understand that? Look it up. If you think I'm lying to you, look it up. It's like a co-worker, a co-op. That means two people that's under the same umbrella.
okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Anything other than that, you are a single parent. And
Okay.
if you live life under the terms of no, I'm not a co-parent, I'm a single parent, then you can see the light to something else that you should be doing.
Okay, I'm looking it up.
So we have been
okay. So I'm looking up at the Oxford Dictionary. It says co-parenting, share the duties of raising a child, used especially of parents who are separated or not in a relationship. Michelle, for example, Michelle, no, that's just a sentence. But so
well,
if
what
we're
was I
looking,
was reading? I must have read that in Webster's.
yeah, I read
And
this.
see, this is what I'm saying. They got definitions on things in different places that mean different things.
And that's fine. Co-parenting looks different in each situation. So it could be defined differently, but the basis of it is that we are sharing parenting responsibilities for this child. How it looks is something that we need to agree on so that we are on the same page so that we can try to avoid situations like this, you know? So their version of co-parenting was them being a tight-knit family. They were always together. She introduced him to her husbands. He introduced her to his girlfriends or whatever. And everybody was, copacetic. It was okay. Even when she divorced DeJiman, it was still pretty friendly, there's no bad blood. She got remarried to her youngest son's dad. I think she's divorced at this point, but all of them were a family unit, and which was why people kind of admired Russell and Kimora. They got along so well. They had businesses, they could co-parent and work businesses together. So to see that fall apart is a little disheartening, But all that to say this. Communication is key. Maturity is key.
Yeah.
And dealing, and to me, Russell gives off narcissistic vibes. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly. I totally agree. It's a lot of that going on right now.
Yeah. And we saw it back in the day. We saw in the Crush Groove days, people would tell him, Russell, you shouldn't do that this way. You need to do it this way. And he'd be like, no, and he'd go off on him. And again, I'll say that he
What's up reading that?
Huh?
No, I'm stuck because I was reading about co-parenting and I was like, wow. But now seeing that is I'm seeing a whole different definition.
Uh-huh.
So, you know what I mean? Because, doing what I do for a living, I don't have time to do nothing but study certain things. You know what I mean?
Right.
So one day I just basically decided, you know what? I'm gonna just look at definitions of co-parenting. And I didn't see that one you read. I saw what I spoke.
Uh-huh.
And now I'm seeing a different light. I'm like, wow, okay.
And that's what knowledge is for. Knowledge is power. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we learn something and we just move on, So
that's what.
But so that's why like I said, that's why we admired them. And for him to just cut his kids off and tell a daughter that's in a foreign country that he's not going to send her money, I mean, it could allow for the relationship to be strained, So I don't know. I don't know what I'm just a little disappointed by Russell, because I mean I knew he was strong-willed. And I knew he was a control freak and, like I said, narcissistic, but you don't want to see him direct that towards kids who basically worship the ground he walked on. You know what I'm saying? You don't ever want to see your hero fall. And I think that's why Aoki, it was devastating for her. She saw her hero fall, you know? And she had to do it in such a public way, you know? So I think it's terrible that she's had, and it's not just her, it's her and her sister. Because I think they only have the 2 kids together, right?
Right. I don't know. I really thought all them kids was his. I
Oh,
didn't know that she had kids by somebody else. I didn't know that.
so she has 2 kids with Russell. She has 1 kid with DeJarman, and I think she may have 2 kids with her last husband.
Oh, that's for the streets then.
Well, but the thing is, it's not. She was married to them, so
Oh, okay, damn. So I can't get it still, damn.
can't even. Nope, can't even say it's for the street.
Cause I ain't getting married, though.
They have rings on her, so she was. She wasn't in the streets. So, and it was and I'm quite as it's kept. It was a long time between Russell and DeJarman, and she wasn't, you know what, she went out there. She was working and take care of her kids. You know, them kids, those girls they're her world. She loves her kids. Okay.
As she should. As she should. Isn't she from St. Louis?
She is from St. Louis, but I think she's half Asian and maybe half black.
Okay.
And she is from St. Louis. I think she was born in St. Louis. So,
Well, I used to say I don't know how she got past me, but she was underage. That's how she got past you, fool.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even have to look at her twice because she underage.
Well, let's see how old she is, though, because I'm curious.
She was 17 when she met Russell.
Right.
But he didn't marry her till she was 18. I remember that. So that means that I wouldn't have never even looked twice at her because she was underage, even if I saw her anywhere. That's a little girl. And kept moving.
She's 48.
She's 48?
Yeah.
See, something ain't adding up.
According to this, she is
48. So I'm
48.
only 1 year older than her? Nah. They didn't get married when I was 18. They got married that long ago?
They got married a long time ago.
When was they so she did get away then?
Yep. Well, by that time though, she led a whole different life because once she got into modeling, she was gone.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. I really did think I had
No.
I had at least 10 years on her.
Nope.
I'm thinking she mid-30s.
Nope. She is 48.
Wow. I got one. When is her birthday?
It is May 4th, 1975.
Oh, okay. So I got a shot. I got a shot now. She's single, ain't she?
Uh-huh.
And I got about as much money as Russell Simmons, so I might be able to get in.
You stupid. You got them royalty checks, sir.
Man, you know. I ain't got it yet, but it's coming.
Look, come on, call them, go, call them.
You know what I mean? It's coming. I ain't got it yet. But like Juvie say, I ain't got it yet. What he say? I just got me a check.
Right.
You know what I mean? I ain't got it yet, but it's coming.
Listen. Well, hopefully the fam can come together peacefully and work this out because, I hate to see this going on in so public, but hopefully Aoki and the rest of them find peace and maybe one day in the future, because, Russell getting kind of up there. You don't want to be by yourself in your late 80s, needing somebody to take care of you, but since you destroyed that relationship, you have no one. So, Russell, do better, sir. Please.
Yeah, I think he should, but really, Now this is me I am moving the goalposts.
Uh,
I don't think men really think about being taken care of when they reach their elders years like women do. I don't think men think about that.
Right.
I really don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. You know what I mean? Because I don't see, and I say that because I've never seen fathers preaching to their sons to have children for that.
Well,
You know, I've seen that preach more to females versus males.
Well, here's the thing. That shouldn't be your motivation, because at the end of the day, it's still a child. But the point of it is that you want to have a relationship with your kids so that at the end of the day, you're not sitting in regret. You're not
That
sitting
part.
in some nursing home all by yourself looking at these other people whose families come to see them. And in the back of your mind, you like, oh, wow, I miss my kid. You see
Right.
all the time. And a lot of times, unfortunately, it is the fathers who may have damaged the relationship so badly, you know. So, like you said, move the goalposts. Fathers, figure out a way to have that relationship with your kid. Not saying that some women aren't the reason why the relationship is strained in the first place, but figure out a way to get that child to where y'all can fix the bridge. You know, even if you don't want to see her, put a dropout point. Hey, let's meet up at McDonald's, or have your mama bring the child to McDonald's and drop them off. There's ways to get around it. Y'all just gotta fight a little harder, maybe. You know, I don't know if that, and I don't even know if that's the right term, but be a father to your kids. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that the kids at least know. So at the end of the day, when they start thinking and putting two and two together, because it's gonna happen, kids grow up and they start to see the real deal, then they will know, well, wait a minute. My daddy been fighting for me all these years. My daddy loves me. He
Right.
wants to see me. Mama,
Right.
I got some questions for you.
Right. Like I've had to physically, like me and my daughter, she was in high school and I was telling her to do something and I was getting on her case. And she was like, Daddy, but I fight for you.
Right?
When mom does this and well, I fight for you and tell her that you don't do. I was like, look her, baby, in your life, you ain't ever got to worry about fighting for me. My job is to fight for you.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes as a child, unfortunately, when one parent, and we shouldn't, but when
But
one parent says
uh,
something against the other parent, you're putting that child in the position to defend and pick a side. That's why
right.
you shouldn't talk bad about the parents in front of the kids.
Exactly. 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 So, well, I guess the moral to the story, what I was just basically saying is, like I told her, you don't have to fight for me. Your job is to bury me when it's all said and done.
Right.
When
But
I get up out of her, your job gonna be to come lay me to rest.
But she's gonna fight for you because she knows that you're a good dad. And so you can say what you want. If her mom says something negative about you, she's going to defend you because
I
her
don't
mother
need
put
that
her.
though.
But you
That's
may
her
not
mother.
need it. You may not need it.
Okay.
But that's the love your daughter has for you.
She said, get the hell out the way and let her handle it.
Basically, yes, that's what I said. Point, boop, right there.
Quit telling her to stop. Get out the way.
Let her be a daughter.
Okay.
And if her mama was a real mama, she wouldn't put her in that position, because that's how you take the respect away from your motherhood. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Put your
okay.
daughter in a place where she got to defend her daddy. She don't respect what you saying. She's angry with you for going, talking bad about her daddy, who she know has taken care of her. So your level of respect has dropped because you keep talking negatively about the other parent.
Okay, I dig it.
See? So just do the right thing, keep the other person's name out your mouth, and parent your kid. That's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do.
Okay, sir. My mouth is still juicy. We got to talk about the second piece of juice we got. Do we want to go with
Drum roll.
submarine, or do we want to go with, what was the other one?
Let's say the submarine for last.
Okay.
That's going to be the last right there. Let's say that was for last.
Okay, so we was going to talk about the incident in Chicago.
Yes.
How about you give us the backstory on that?
Okay, in this particular story, we have a mother and a son who pulled up to a chicken restaurant, a chicken spot a couple days ago. Son is in the car, mom goes into the restaurant, allegedly. Well, that ain't allegedly, that's all video. She did it, this all happened.
Right.
An altercation ensues with her and some guy on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Argument breaks out. The man tells her, lady, get your food and leave. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's constantly arguing back.
Right.
And the man says, get your food and leave once again. Then he tells her, you say one more thing, I'm going to knock you out. Okay. Then she says something else, and he's telling her, you say one more thing, I'm going to knock you out.
Right.
He ended up swinging it and trying to knock her out. He hit her with 3 good shots.
Oof.
The whole time, she had already told her son to creep up behind him. So soon as he throwing them punches, the son start throwing shots. Now, keep in mind that her son is 14 years old and an honor student, just graduated junior high.
Oh. And what do you mean by throwing shots?
Pow, pow, pew, pew. Shot him in the back.
Oh, okay. Got you.
With allegedly her firearm. She had the right to carry. You know what I mean? But evidently she left it in the car. But I can understand why she left it in the car, because in that particular situation, if my child, I would do the same thing. I would leave my gun in the car, because if anything went left, you're protected, and we'll live to fight another day. You understand what I'm saying? If you see something, you spray it. I got to make sure you protected. I'm all right. I've lived my life. You understand what I'm saying? So in that particular situation, at night, that part of town, and this no matter where I would do the same thing. I wouldn't have brought mine in the store either.
Right.
Because I wouldn't have left my child with nothing.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I would have probably done the same thing. The problem I have with it is, now I'm not condoning my man. There was no shape, form, or fashion.
Are you talking about the cashier?
No, this wasn't a cashier. This was another patron.
Oh, okay.
This was another patron. From what the reports are saying, it was the person behind her. So they're not showing how it all started. They're showing you the punch and then the gun going off. But they're not showing you how it all started.
Okay.
Now, in that particular situation, when your children are with you, please walk away.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot expect a man that has 0 morals, 0 integrity to walk away. Mm-hmm. I know you have morals and integrity. You've never had a case.
Right.
Your son is an honor student.
Right.
But you have the will to fight that nobody can tell you nothing.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So in that,
Okay, so
Live to fight and live. Go for the big picture. You have a kid involved, and now your son is locked. Yeah, he dead, but now you done lost your son all in the same hand.
so here,
So you
go
won the argument, but you lost the game. You're losing at the game of life.
play foolish games, get stupid
Get
prizes.
stupid prizes, right?
So here's what I'm gonna say about that, because I totally agree with what you said about walking away. But here's the part that really ticks me off is that she caused all this. Why would you call a 14-year-old child into a situation like that?
That
Why
part
didn't
too.
you just get in your car and leave? I can be
That's what.
angry, I could be mad, we may exchange a few words, but at the end of the day, I don't think I would call my kid into the store and, and have my back, because you don't know what that person is carrying. One.
That part.
And
And
two,
you know that his girlfriend was in there with him. So
and you
you
don't
didn't
know
know
what
if
she
she was
packing.
strapped. Your son could have died right there in your
Right,
face.
right. Like the
But now he
girlfriend
gonna
could
get
pull
what?
out her
Raped to
gun.
be in jail because he done went in there to protect you and you could have walked away?
Could have walked away. That is the most irresponsible thing you could have done. Or walking away costs $0.00. And at the end of the day, you live to tell the story.
Man,
Because
this is
tomorrow
why.
you get up and you say, that man really pissed me off. But guess what? We are here together for me to tell you the tale.
And that's why pride is one of the 7 deadly sins.
That part. That exact part. Because pride is exactly what made her stand there in that store. I wonder if this is an alleged question. I wonder if at that moment she texts her son, bring me my heat. You know what I'm saying?
She may have, we don't know. And see, like
Don't know.
they're not showing how it started. All they showing is this man being aggressive, to start more confusion between male and female.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But my message is to the ladies, right? You
Okay.
want a man, because I've heard countless women say, why didn't no man step up and help? Ain't no man gonna step up and help a big mouth woman. We gonna let you get hit in it.
But
We
that's
step
not
up and
right.
help meekness. It's not right, but we step up and help meekness.
And I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit on that. And here's my example.
Okay.
Do you remember that video? It's a couple years ago. These 3 Black women were in Marshalls, I believe. And they stepped outside. They had just spent like $200-300. They had stepped outside, and I don't know if it was store security or what, bought them back in and said that they had stolen something. It was a Black man with who came and stepped up and kind of stood there to make sure nothing happened to these ladies. So, and they were loud, not saying that they were extra rowdy. They were loud because they were upset. But he stepped up and stood there with them the whole time that situation was going on. So I'm gonna have to disagree with you saying that Black men don't step
I'll say
up.
it like this, depending on the situation. Like if I see, like think about it, like we don't know how this argument started, one.
Right.
But if I see you initiate this argument and this man about to knock you out and he telling you to leave, I'm not getting in the middle of that.
But why not even get in the middle and stop the brother? Like, hey, bro.
Because I
That's a
got shit to
female.
lose. You know why? I got something to lose.
Everybody has something to lose.
Exactly. So
Why
this is
not?
why I'm saying walk away.
And she should.
Meaning that in that store setting where you accused of stealing, One thing I know, ain't no shots finna get fired. I'm not finna walk away from that with somebody I gotta be looking over my shoulder. Well, if I bump into him later, where this gonna turn?
Right.
You
But
understand what I'm saying?
But why not be like, hey, bro? And I'm not even saying that you got to get between them, but like, hey, man, this ain't something that you need to get upset about. Just, walk away. Why not say that? Why?
Men don't operate that way. And I'll tell you like this: when a man say, okay, say take her out the equation, and it's me, and he tell me, you say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out. I got two choices: throw the first punch or walk away, because
Okay.
it's on at that point. It's on right there,
Right.
because that's what men do. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I'm not condoning his actions, but once again, I know I'm dealing with a man that's moralist and has no integrity because, first of all, he approaches a female that way.
Right.
So, as a man, you know what else I got to think about?
What?
I have a daughter, I got sisters, I got nieces, I got granddaughters.
And that's anybody. Everybody has a loved
Right.
one who at
But
the end of the day
right.
will
But
miss
look at
them.
this. I am here to protect them. Now, why would I lose me because you won't shut the fuck up?
Well, but at the end of the day, I'm not saying, get in the middle, like I said, but hey, dog, it's not worth it. Chill out and leave it
That
at
don't
that.
work. I
And I'm not
understand what
saying,
you're saying. Go ahead.
and I'm
Because
not
that don't
saying
work.
it works
Go
for
ahead.
everybody. I'm not saying that, but even like, hey, ma'am, you might want to walk away from this because at the end of the day, if people are attitudinal enough, they're going to butt heads and they're going to continue to butt heads because both of them want to be right.
Won't smoke. Both of them want to
Right.
be right. So
And
therefore,
women, women, let me tell you this. Women, y'all, I love y'all to death, but y'all need to stop trying to step to these men. Stop it. At the end of the day, men are still stronger. Yes,
you
some of
can
y'all
only
got
step
them
in.
hands that y'all
Yeah.
can take these brothers down, but women, we are ladies at the end of the day. Stop stepping to these dudes and trying to fight them. This is what happens.
Right. Now, what I was going to say is when you're dealing with a man that has zero morals and zero integrity, where he don't even give a damn about himself, his girl is there laughing, egging him on. 2 plus 2 in my mind gonna tell me that, oh, she probably got the banger if I step up and try anything. One. All right. Two, she probably already getting beat up by him. So I'm finna have to fight both of these jokers. Now, depending on how it started, you understand what I'm saying? Depending on how it has started, how it all started would depend on what I'm gonna do.
Right.
Because I have physically stepped up and helped like some black women truckers out here where I saw a white boy about to get at one of them, and I done stepped in between of it like, dog, you're gonna have to get me before you touch that. But
Right.
then, but right behind me, she studied. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's like, bitch, shut up. I can't protect you because I can't protect you if you ain't gonna shut the fuck up.
Right.
That's your ticket to walk away and leave. Not to keep la. You ain't gonna do nothing. Whoa. That's not your ticket to keep doing that. But that's where we are as a society, which makes it hard for a man to say, you know what, I will help.
True.
You know why? You know why? Because all while I'm trying to mediate and calm it down, you're gonna be right over my shoulder, study running your mouth. Because now I'm in the way to take that punch.
Exactly. But like you said, I agree that if somebody steps in on your behalf to try and diffuse the situation, allow them to diffuse it. Because at the end of the day, what happened could happen.
Yes.
Your baby came in packing and shot somebody.
And now your son has the potential to get out later. And now he becomes that same man that hate women, that'll punch a woman in a chicken shop. Why? Because his life then got threw away behind some BS.
Or because now he's seeing things in jail, and hopefully, we're gonna hope and pray that he gets through this without too much mental damage. You know what I'm saying? Because you see things in jail, you go through things in jail. We don't know
Right.
where they have him. They may
That
have
part.
him in an adult jail because the juvie jail is overcrowded, and
Right.
we hear all the stories.
And you don't know who this man people is.
Right? He may have people. Oh, you killed my cousin.
Man.
He's
And
dealing
your
with
son to be
that.
wearing lipstick. It was cool to do on the street, but now your son behind them bars and you can't help.
Yep. So did the man die?
Yeah, he died.
Wow.
Yeah, so the son got charged with murder. The mother got charged with murder. But the mother got bond. The son didn't.
How did mama get bonded and she still left her kid in there? Or whoever got
She has a bond. The son don't though, because the son is the shooter. They're not playing that in Chicago. It's all, like I say, it's all fun and games until you actually get yourself in a situation.
got you. So they didn't let him out because he was the one that committed the crime.
She not out, but she has a $3 million bond.
No, the mama's out, right?
No, she isn't out. She has she has to come up with the money for bond. He doesn't even have a bond.
Wow.
Right. Right. And then get this. Also, after they outside the store, allegedly, she done told him to make sure you kill him. And then tried to tell him to go back in the store and shoot the girlfriend. And tried to take the banger from him to go do it. And bitch, you ain't never even caught a case. You've been watching too much TV.
Wait, what?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
What?
Yes. I don't know where are we getting this from that our child is supposed to be our protector.
I agree. Just because you have a son does not mean he steps into a grown man's position. Now you'd have set up and ruined the rest of his life. That right there could have been the next engineer to create something that would have been a game changer. We will never know because
we'll never know.
He may have to spend the rest of his life behind bars.
Right. And you want to know why these diseases and all this running rapid? That's part of the reason. The people that's supposed to come down with the cures and stuff keep getting knocked off.
Right.
What you think is just gonna fall out the sky? No, you keep getting knocked off.
And you say he had never been in trouble and he was a straight A student?
Yeah, she had never even caught a case before. She had a clean record. So she wasn't about that life.
Wow.
So it's one of those situations where you know people get a gun and they automatically think they about their life now. And it's like, no, the gun is supposed to make you take the high road.
Exactly.
It's not for you to actually instigate it like, well, this, that, and the third. And allegedly, she texted him and told him to come in.
Right. And so my son.
Did she not learn? Before you go, Shay, did she not learn from that case you just saw with the football player where somebody called somebody else?
Nope, she didn't learn. She did not learn. Nope, she didn't. And you're not in Florida. Look, you're not in Florida.
The guy who I'm showing
your ground.
The guy who I'm showing right now on my for my picture. His part of the reason he in trouble is because his mama called him to come handle some work at a store. instead of just walking away and letting it be. We
Right.
got to realize we got things to lose that are more important than the goddamn argument.
Right.
I'll lose the argument before I lose my grandkids.
I'm just gonna walk out. It is not that serious.
It ain't that serious.
You can yell, holler all you want to, but it is not that serious for me to engage you that way. It's not that serious to where I'm going to have my kids walk into a store with a gun. Because how did he know to walk in there with a gun if she told him? Because 9 times out of well, and alleged, this is a question. Let me roll that back a little bit. He bought the gun in and shot that man. So I know she didn't have it just out. So he may not have even known that the gun was in the car. So
No.
secretly to me, I feel like that she texted him, bring my gun, and he saw what the man was doing and shot him, protecting his mother.
But you can't even do that because he's 14. He's not supposed to be in possession of it.
Nope.
So even if he hopped out the car with it and the cops ran down on him, like soon as he hopped out the car, he was going to jail for being in possession of a firearm underage.
Right. But I'd rather have possession than murder. Because at the end of the day, you can do community service, maybe, and you at home versus facing the rest of your life in jail.
Right. And I don't, hey, it's disturbing because something is definitely wrong right now.
Something is wrong. It's summertime, it's hot. People just aren't as, in my opinion, they aren't as, I don't know if this is the right word, restrained like they used to be. Because, back in the day, it took a minute for people to get upset. We didn't just go for a gun soon as a problem pop off. And if a problem did pop off, it was a fist fight, not a gunfight.
Guns weren't as easily accessible, though.
That's true.
As they are today.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of this started when they started dropping the cocaine and the guns off in the hoods, and it just sensationalized that lifestyle.
That
once
video games.
Yep. So once video games and gangsters, people felt like they needed guns to protect their family. So, boom, there's the explosion.
Like me growing up, my parents had guns. You know what I mean? They didn't flash them. Right. And I knew better than to go mess with them.
Right. Yep. My mother did not have a gun. She never had a gun. But I got one. But it stays in my gun safe. I'm too nervous to use it. Like, I know I need to go to the range and shoot it. But what makes me even more nervous is that my son focuses in on it. Like, Mom, we in this house, we heard a noise downstairs. If I had access to your gun, I would have came and got it. That makes me nervous.
Because that's what that tells me when a comment like that, and I'm not saying your son is this guy, that tells me if you have a conflict, you had a key, you coming to get it.
Exactly. And what if at the end of the day, I was the one coming in and you shot me? You know what I'm saying?
Or your brother.
Exactly. And that's my thing. I'm like, you are not responsible or ready to deal with a gun. That's why you don't have access to it.
Right.
I mean,
have you taken them to a range and allowed them to shoot it?
No, but even that's what I was about to say. Even with that, I don't know if that would help, if it would
It would. You
calm
know
me
why?
down.
You know why it would help?
Why?
The sound of it might scare the shit out of them.
Well, that's true. And if nothing else, it would make you definitely think about you're taking a life. It's not a game. It's not a joke. It's not like on a video game where they get back up.
Right, right.
This
See,
person
right,
is down for the count.
right. You gotta take the illusion of, ooh, I have a firearm around. You gotta take that away. See, like
Exactly.
I've taken my daughter to the range. She knows how to break it down. She knows how to clean it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? She knows all of that. Now, with that being said, after that first bang, I could look in her eyes and tell, nah, she don't want none of this.
And I didn't. I
You
fired
understand
that
what I'm
gun
saying?
2 times and I was done. But
Right.
there was this other gun. It would sound like a cannon just going off. And I was like, oh my God. It was just so loud. It made me nervous. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to go back, but yeah, you're right. I do need to allow them to be exposed to guns. But with this one, I don't know if that would be a good or bad thing because I don't want him to grow to love it even more. But I mean,
I
he's
feel
he's
you. You
his
don't want to turn
own
them out on
man,
you.
right? He's his own man, and eventually he may make that choice to go get a gun anyway. So,
Right. I can understand that.
so
It comes,
maybe
what I say is just like they have classes that teach you to drive,
right.
they should have classes that teach you about firearms.
Well, I think they do have firearm classes, but I don't think it totally goes into what really goes behind what happens
I'm
when you
talking about
pull
in
that
school.
trigger.
I'm talking about
Oh,
in school.
oh no, they won't do that at school.
They need to.
Oh,
They
they
need
won't
to.
do it. You know
They
how
need
many
to.
folk, oh my goodness. Oh, the outcry. They barely want teachers to have protection in the schools. So the
You got to.
outcry of them doing that, oh
I
Lord,
know, but when there's no illusion, then nobody wants it when there's no more illusion.
right? And
A
that's where
child only wants to touch things because of the illusion. Like, oh, it's chocolate chip cookies in the cookie jar. I'm finna climb up here and get them. But
right,
if you put the whole pack right here in front of their face, they don't even want them.
exactly. But I'm gonna say that that's why you reserve that side of things for parenting versus teachers, because you may get somebody with a gung ho attitude, and your attitude and your views may not match. So you don't want something like that in a school situation, and because they may tell it to kindergartners. You just don't need that in that type of arena. But it should definitely come from home where y'all can sit down and safely have that discussion.
So what? Let me ask you this:
Okay.
At what age do you think it's time to start discussing?
Whew, that is a good question. Now, so do you mean like if the parents own a gun or no?
Yeah, if the parents own a firearm, at what age do you believe that it's all right to allow your children to teach your children about it? At what age?
Well, I mean, you could start off at maybe age 7, you know. But when I say that, I mean sit down, have a conversation. Hey, we have a gun in the house. We have a gun in the house for safety. You are not to touch it per se, because or whatever rules you need to set. The younger, the better, so that kids can be comfortable in the idea that there's a gun in the house. Now, past that, once they get older, like being a teenager, then you need to navigate into, do I want to teach my kid to shoot this gun? How much access do I give my kid? Do I want them to be allowed to open the safe? Because a lot of people just take their kids hunting and all this other stuff, but they don't really ask the questions, you know? They don't really, because the kid doesn't have that maturity. What if you go on a trip, leave the kid at home, they don't know you coming home, and they go get the gun for protection and again accidentally shoots you?
Right.
So
Right.
that's why I think that you have to do it in stages and chunks so that you can really make sure that the kid has clarity on how to use the gun, how to fire the gun, where it's accessed, all that. That's a lot of responsibility.
It is. This is why I think the earlier the better. I'm thinking that at this point is more so it's late. It's too late for a lot of us. All right. But for the up and coming, I'm thinking by the time you even teaching them to tie their shoes, you need to be introducing them to what a firearm is.
Mm.
Take the illusion away from, ooh, it's a gun. You
Right.
gotta have the same, it has to be the same, oh, tie your shoe. It gotta have the same ring to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I was raised around them, like went hunting. We would go out like granddaddy farm, line up bottles, shoot them down. You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, like as a teenager, it was no illusion of behind when one of my partners had a gun. It
Right.
wasn't no, ooh, let me see it. Because I already knew better than to put my prints on.
Right. Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
true.
So
That
the
is true.
illusion was gone, you know. And but even as a kid, I didn't like the noise of it.
Right. Those
You
are,
understand?
woo.
You understand what I'm saying? So I was, I was particular. How old was I? I want to say 21 before the noise didn't rattle me no more.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I used to, like I say, go rabbit hunting and all of that. But every time the shotgun go off, I'm jumping. You understand what I'm saying? I was about 21 before the sound of it no longer made me jump.
Man, I have to go again. I have to build my nerve up to go again because I couldn't handle it. It drove that sound just affected me so badly. It made me super nervous.
Right, but you being a single mom, all right,
Uh-huh.
you got to understand. You got to be able to move through that sound.
True.
Because when the funk on, it's gonna be noisy.
That's true.
You understand what I'm saying? Because somebody may be throwing them back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what you gonna do? Drop it and ah? You understand what I'm saying? So
I
being in a
got you
place hearing
right.
it like that, you just got to learn how to focus through it.
You right.
You know
Because
what I mean?
it was hard. And I had my the ear things on and everything, but it was that cannon was so I don't know what they had, but it sounded like a cannon. It was just boom, boom, boom. I was like, oh my gosh. I wish
Right.
they would have put me in a quieter area. I should have asked for a quieter area. So
Nah, you don't get that at a gun range. Ain't no quieter area.
no, but I think I shouldn't have been in the room with that thing, knowing how nervous I was. So mhm.
Uh,
Well, prayers for that baby, and hopefully he doesn't get that much time, and
hopefully he gets out and then they lock the mama up.
or yeah, or if he does get locked up, hopefully that he makes it through with his mental capacities together and in one piece, because you're gonna see some stuff in jail.
Right. Well, let me take that back because I don't know how it all started. So she
Right.
could have very well been in the right.
Exactly. So
You know what I mean? I
that is a
am
very
assuming
good
because
point.
I didn't see how it all started.
Right. And that's a very good point. So prayers up to the both of them, and hopefully they pull through okay. Now,
That part.
sir, We're gonna talk about this last piece because it has been having us in a chokehold all week long. So we're gonna talk about the sub, the Ocean View sub that went down to find the Titanic.
Move.
And let me tell you, some of the people is ruthless. Even in a sad situation like this, people is ruthless. So basically, 5 or 6 people went on an expedition to go find the Titanic. Now, the creator of this sub, the Ocean View sub, he allegedly was not big on safety measures. He thought the safety measures was a waste. So basically, these people paid $250,000. Did you hear me? $250,000 per person.
Right.
So they paid that much to be put in a sardine can.
You call it a sardine can? I said a bathtub. A bathtub and a Nintendo joystick.
Okay.
And we going to the bottom of the ocean.
The bottom of the ocean. Okay. Where they can't, it's not like, you in a car going somewhere you can stop and pull over for help. You can't do none of that. This thing had no windows. The only way you could view the water was in a small window sitting on the toilet. There wasn't even a private toilet, like it was just open. Ew.
Yeah.
And they didn't even eat the night before they left on this expedition. So already I would have been like, nope, I can't eat. What? So you were already kind of behind the 8 ball in a situation where things could go bad. Okay. So they disappeared. And they were looking for them in an area about the size of Connecticut. They finally sent, I guess, this robot down there to an area where they got some debris, to an area where they think they found some debris, and they believe that the submarine imploded, so there are no survivors.
Wow.
Now, there was a story about another family that was supposed to go on this trip. But the son of this, so it was a dad and son that was supposed to go on this trip too. But the son's best friend was like, I did some research. There are no safety measures. Don't go. And so the dad decided to listen to the son's friend and he didn't go. So basically the son's friend saved their life. So what do you got on this one?
One thing I'll always say, it's a different, I don't want you to make this, don't take this as being racial, but it's the truth.
Okay.
It's a difference between a black person that has money and a white person that has money. A black person that comes in the money, go finds them a corner and sit down.
For the most part, yep.
The other man, he don't do that. He either gonna try to destroy something or do something like that. Go to the bottom of the ocean and go to the bottom of the ocean in the bathtub and the Nintendo joystick.
A Nintendo joystick.
Joystick to control it.
I paid $250,000 to die in a tuna can.
To die, to get crushed to death. I paid $250,000 to get crushed to death.
And at the end of the
But
day, you had all our money. You could go out and do something better, get some insulation, put some windows on this. Nothing. I can't
I
even
mean, did
see.
y'all even attempt to drop it to the bottom before you took people down there?
Yes, there were 5 tests and they all were negative. Not they all had some type of negative result.
Right. They never made it to the bottom any, did they?
I don't think so. Well,
Uh,
yeah, at the end of the day, but no, for the most part, I don't think if they had any successful tests. But
right.
again,
So,
this fool was gung ho about no safety measures.
man, and that's what I be saying. A lot of people don't be believing fat meat greasy.
Because what what would possess you to go on some type of that trip? Because to me, honestly, I would think that the water is cursed. It's been 112 years, and all these people have tried and failed to get down there to find the Titanic. Why would you
Right,
think that you are going to be successful?
right, right,
It's kind of
right.
like remember, the tale of Lake Lanier?
Yeah. It's like, why would you even still be out in Lake Lanier calling yourself swimming?
Exactly.
Why would you do that? Be bolding, be doing anything. You can't nobody tell me, come on, let's go to Lake Lanier. Man, I ain't going over there.
At all. Not with all them ancestors up under there just waiting for people. You got live bit.
Right.
Ain't
I ain't
no
going
way.
there.
It's 3. Lake Lanier, this one, and the Bermuda Triangle. So I'm not going nowhere near either one of them, especially on a boat or in a can. That is crazy. So, but here's the question of the day. Who's gonna pay for all those man hours that they use to try and go get those people?
That money gone.
So,
We the people.
because I'm like, how come they don't send the bill to that man's company?
You know, they may do that though. It may be similar to like if you call the ambulance to come get you, you get a bill for that. That ain't no
Yes,
free
you
ride.
do. Yes, you do. Yes, you
Yeah, that's
do.
not a free ride.
No, it is not. So,
Yeah.
who gonna
And
pay
I don't
for
think your insurance company covers a ride in the ambulance.
it? Does not. It does not. So, if you can't get coverage for ambulance, how you gonna get coverage for a whole rescue mission?
Man. I mean, when are we gonna decide to, man, we ain't going to help them, they should have known better.
But that's their job. At the end of the day, it was their job, regardless of how stupid. Let me not say that, regardless of how bad a decision it was, it's the people's job to try and go find them. So they did their job, but now there's a fat ticket, a fat
Right.
debt that needs to be paid. And
But
taxpayers should not have to pay that.
right, right, because like you spent all that money, but yet you knew it imploded right after it did it. Because
I don't
first
know.
you said we have knocking, we heard knocking from down there, and then when they come back and say, nah, we done found debris, it imploded. Then they come back with a report and say, yeah, well, we heard the implosion a few minutes after it went missing.
Oh, I didn't know they said that.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah. So they knew what happened. They just didn't tell the people what happened.
Wow.
Because
Well,
they knew that if they said, nah, it imploded, wasn't nobody going down there looking.
But if you knew that, then them people was gone. Maybe they needed people to go look at them to kind of hide the evidence. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they thought it would have been a disaster if they didn't go look for them. You know what I'm saying? Versus, because to me, it's gonna look funny either way. Because if somebody stands there and says, it imploded, well, how do you know? Well, we heard it. Did y'all go check? No. Why?
Because
So
they have studied that so many times to where they know what an implosion down in the water sounds like.
right, but people are gonna judge, and if they didn't try to a certain extent, then I think it would have looked bad. So either way, it's gonna kind of look bad. Danged if you do, danged if you don't. You danged if you do because you spent all this taxpayer money. Now who's gonna collect this check? You danged if you don't, because how do you know it exploded? Even if you know what it sound like, how do we know that really happened?
And right. And see, like as a safety precaution, me personally, I would have been, all right, why not drop a robot with me? You know
Drop
what
it.
I mean? In case
Right.
something go left, this robot is actually filming everything.
Right.
So we know if something going wrong, if something on the hull is, we can see it and we can know it.
That's a safety, sir. He
Right.
didn't want the safety. Of course, that would have made sense. And even I want to say maybe, hopefully, he had a camera maybe on the top of the sub, even. But I mean, he didn't even, I don't even know if he had like the sandbags that could have brought them back to the top. Like he was
Yeah.
bare
They
bones.
Yeah, but they said that something went wrong because they dropped whatever they had to make an emergency ascend.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like maybe the grass cracked and they knew they had to go up right then. You know what I mean? Because they had one glass on there. Maybe that cracked.
Right.
But even with that, you didn't drop it down there with no people in it first.
Right. Right. You didn't.
How
You
did you
didn't.
test the pressure?
Exactly.
Because I would have asked all them questions. Well, I wouldn't have got in there in the first place. But
That
if I were to get in there, I would have asked all of them questions before I even did that.
But
Because I
he
would have had a panic
already
attack.
told you that he don't give a flip about safety. If you get on
Well,
this ride here, you are strapping in with duct tape and prayer. Okay?
for real though. And
We
here,
don't
sign, yeah,
care.
he did make them sign a waiver
We don't
that
care about your
you
safety.
could die on this, you could die on this expedition. So he did make them sign a waiver. So they loved ones can't even turn around and sue.
Sure can't. Jack and them was waiting for them at the bottom of the sea, okay?
Man.
Cause why? If is there not enough on the dirt that you could spend your money on, like you looking for such a rush that you would risk your life? And the saddest part about this is that there was a kid in the sub. It
Right.
was
And
a
who's to
whole
say,
teenager.
right, who's to say it imploded and some didn't try to eat it?
Well, I think they pretty eat. They're some orca snack right now, okay?
Right, but I'm saying like because it was the size that one of them big ass animals in the ocean can open their mouth and attempt to swallow that.
Uh,
What did they? You know what I mean? What's there to deter? Because you don't know what's down there.
nope.
You understand what I'm saying? And it's the reason all the little fish up top.
Yep.
it's the reason for that, and that's because the big fish at the bottom.
It is.
And anytime you have something that will attack, say a whale shark, them big ass whales, is animals down there that will attack them. Them
Right.
giant squids. Who's to say one of them giant squids didn't grab it?
Something.
And try to eat it.
Exactly.
We don't know.
We don't.
Because man, like that's gonna block your scent. And this is nothing against women. You have a woman on board. If she's on her cycle, that should attract predators. Think about it. Well, that would attract a predator.
Well, shark most definitely, yes. So, if you looking at, I'm gonna show you this. The outer shell was fiberglass. I don't know if you could. Nope, can't see it. But I wish I could show the picture. But I mean, the outer shell was fiberglass. There was a vertical thruster. There was a carbon.
Fiberglass.
Outer shell is made of fiberglass.
Same thing a bathtub made out of.
And it was only 9 feet tall and it was 8 feet wide. And the kicker of it is that there was a camera on top. There was a camera on top. So there may be some footage out there that we haven't seen. Now, the capacity was for 5 people. One pilot with his little Nintendo, his Sony, his PlayStation controller. It had life support for 70 to 96 hours. The depth they went down 13,124 feet. It could hold 25,000 pounds, and the speed it was going was 3 knots, or roughly 3.5 miles per hour. Now, my question is, you built this 8 foot wide and it was 22 feet long. Most of this has the stuff it took to make the sub run. And then in the back, there's a little empty compartment, I guess, where the people sat. They were sitting right on top of each other. These 5 grown people were basically sitting right on top of each other. And you thought it was a good idea. There were no seats. There weren't even any seats. But this was a good idea.
Man. No, that wasn't a good idea at all. I know who was ever married to them was like, yeah, go take your dumb ass down now.
And I'd be like, baby, look, I got your updated will from the lawyer. So I need you to sign this, baby. Sign this.
Right. So I ain't gonna have no problems to collect when your dumb ass don't make it back.
That part.
Yeah. Just because Jeff Bezos built the rocket and went to space, now your dumb ass want to build a bathtub to go to the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
Man.
But the awful part is that it was a teenager, like a 19-year-old, maybe something like that.
Right. Of father and son. You supposed to knew better than to do that.
Right.
I would never, ever do things that has a high probability of me not making it back, and I take my child with me.
I am not dragging my child into that dangerous situation. It's one thing for me to want it for myself, but your child hasn't even lived life yet.
Not only that, that's your bloodline. Now your bloodline gone. And if that's your only son, then now what do your line have?
It's your only child. You have just wiped yourself off the face of this earth.
That part right there. That part. Because I would never I would never take mine on an expedition. Now, if I were to make it, hypothetically speaking, if I grew a good sack of kahunas to where I would try it, which I seriously doubt I would grow those. You know what I mean? But if I did, or I went through midlife crisis and I wanted to try something like that, and I made it, then I might endorse it after that. You know what I mean? But I'm not even gonna put myself in. I don't even ride roller coasters no more.
Nope. That part. That part. I don't either. I haven't rode a roller coaster since that heavy set lady slid off the roller coaster in front of her son. I'm like,
Man, I'm not getting back on them. I've had
nope.
my thrill seek. I'm gonna ride the bumper cars and I'm gonna ride the water logs.
Exactly.
Hey, even that started that even the dip on that they got a little too steep for me. To
Huh.
where I'm like, ooh, I don't like that no more.
Nope.
So let me stick to playing the games and riding the bumper cars. And I probably can't
I will
after
ride
my
It's a
accident,
Small
I
World.
probably can't even do that no more.
Exactly. You sure can. I will stick to It's a Small World and the teacups. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yep, that
Yeah.
sounds good. I'll just ride It's a Small World around in a circle. Y'all go do
Exactly.
everything else.
Now the Titanic is 2.5 miles or 12,500 feet below the surface.
2 miles?
Yes.
That should be, I mean, people should know if they can't do nothing to raise that up, why would you even be going down there?
The Titanic sank 112 years ago. And like you said, if they haven't bought it up, why would you go down to it? And what's to guarantee that you were even in the right area?
Right.
You could have been in
Well,
the wrong spot.
yeah. Well, they know where it's at. You know what I mean? They know where it's at. Because I want to say they found the debris right next to it. But you got to play stupid games, you get stupid prizes.
Right.
You know
So
what I mean?
I think the cancellation price should be OceanGate pays for all this and go bankrupt. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say that part, but
They were already bankrupt because he wouldn't refund none of their money. A few of them was trying to get their bread back.
what?
Yeah, because they had canceled so many times.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was a few of them that was trying to get their money back, but he would never refund their money.
He had probably already spent it trying to build this sub.
Man. But who's to say that all that ain't a ploy for them to run off and play dead? They billionaires.
But if you play dead, you have no access unless you made it, bought you a new identity. But technically, you don't have access to your money anymore, right?
You don't have access to the money that they know you got. You got $1 billion. Dude, you can been and moved 100 million and nobody know it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know you can create a account in the, where is it that everybody puts it? Is it
like a Sweden account?
Yes.
You can put an account anywhere though. Because like, think about it like this. Look at it like this. I can take $30,000 right now, put that shit in the bank in Jamaica. I have 4 million now.
Uh-huh.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So banks ain't limited to here in the States. So if
Right.
that currency is converted, it can take less than $1 billion to still live the same lifestyle.
Well, but to me, being a billionaire, you gonna want as much as you can get. So you're gonna want to be comfortable. So you go, like you said, maybe you take at least 100 million, but they took, so if they fake their death, let's say, they wouldn't be able to access their complete fortune, right?
I mean, right, but you can, but you can't. Because you could have willed that shit to yourself, to your new identity.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, I be thinking about getting away myself. I just ain't
Look
got
at
enough
you.
money to
Look at
do it.
you. Look at you. But do you realize, with that being said, you would have had to have started planning this so that you could get your will fixed, because it takes a certain amount of time for your new will to kick in, right?
Well, right and wrong. You don't have to. The thing is, you got to realize a lot of people are moving away from willing things. Everything is going into a trust account now. And when you, or per se, your identity passes on, you put your trust into the next person's name, no questions asked. And all that person got to do is show up with an ID that say they are them, and that's that on that.
So it's a
So
lot
meaning
of,
like my trust account, I have it set up to go to my granddaughters. You understand what I'm saying?
right,
So what that means is, like I told my daughter, my child, don't worry about it because them your kids, but they got the longevity.
right.
So they'll be able to work it longer than you can. You know what I mean? Now, with that being said, they can't access it until they 18.
Okay,
You understand what I'm saying?
right.
So with that being said, who's to say they ain't did nothing like that?
Okay, so set up a trust, create a new identity. So that doesn't take that long to kick in then.
Nah, that kicks in immediately upon death. Like right now, no hold back. You ain't got to go to court and you ain't got to go do none of that. The
Wow.
next person steps up and have to take control. Like I have mine set up to where my daughter it'll automatically fall to my grandkids, but my daughter is like the overseer, meaning that she'll be able to make the hard decisions until
Right.
they of this age.
The
You understand?
executor or executor?
Yeah, something like that.
Executor,
So
yeah.
she'll be able to say, "Nah, y'all can get 10,000 right now. Nah, y'all can get this right now."
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Wow.
but
So
and it's not like a will where now the lawyer has to read the will. You may have to go to court with all this other crowd. It's not like that at all. And
wow.
it'll stay like it stays within my bloodline 199 years. So Lord forbid, knock on wood, if I lose everything, my child and my grandchild, it
Uh-huh.
reverts, it reverts and comes back to the original Bell bloodline, next to kin. It won't go to her mama side
Right.
or they daddy side. You understand what I'm saying? It'll revert and come back to my next of kin.
Which is like your mother.
No, I wouldn't leave it to her.
Oh, yeah, but I'm saying.
You know what I mean? And it's only because she don't know what to do with the bag. And
Right.
she don't have the longevity that say one of my great nephews have.
Okay.
So she'll make decisions that one of my great nephews won't make. See, I'm a firm believer in when anything is left to you, it ain't for you to spend it all.
Right.
It's for you to take a portion and leave some for the next one. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying?
Hopefully, yes. Uh-huh. That's the hope, right?
Right, right, right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I got it set up to where like after then, you got to set it all up like that.
Right.
Then I got my niece up, but her youngest set. She got a set of twins too. So I'm using her youngest set. I'm putting some longevity behind it.
I see.
You know what I'm talking about? And like it says, it runs for 199 years. After 199 years, whoever the overseer is, they have to still reassign for it to come back and do the same thing for another 199 years.
Wow.
They can't just take it and say, all right, I'm done. Nah, you got to set up a new deal. If you ain't willing to set up a new deal, it goes to that one.
Wow. Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? So the only dispute would ever be, from what I'm saying, the only dispute would ever be is if it fell to a next to kin, them proving who next up.
Gotcha.
You understand what I'm saying? But
wow.
even them, they'll still have strict guidelines on what they're able to do and what they can't.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Uh-huh.
this is how you create generational wealth.
Right.
So like
That's
my
true.
grandbabies, they have an annuity that'll just be in there flipping. You understand what I'm saying? So by the time they my age, they multimillionaires already.
That's a blessing. They are very fortunate to have you starting that for them.
Yeah. So by the time they my age, like my great grandkids, oh, they'll be born into it.
Wow.
They'll be born into it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, we all should be there, sir.
That part.
You
It
should
don't,
all
man.
be there.
Look, see, they got us all that bought into 401ks. Everybody, take your money out of a 401k and put that shit into an annuity.
I wish I could. I can't get to mine. District be like, excuse you. No, ma'am, it stays until you retire. So
I'm saying because what happens is this is what happens. Oh, it's a way around that. I got to bring my man on here to talk to you. It's a
okay.
way around that because you can take it, you can move it from the 401k and put it into an annuity. What happens with an annuity is, it all plays the stock market. But with a 401k, if the stock market crash, you lose money. With an annuity, if it crash, it hold on what you made until it come back up and surpass.
Right.
And then it start gaining again. You know what I mean? So it has a fail safe of which a 401k does not. So a 401k, you can basically lose everything. And not only that, once you go to use that money, you lose half of it. See, they don't tell you that.
Of course, no.
You know what I mean? You lose half of it to taxes the moment you decide to touch it.
We need a financial literacy, sir. You saying something. We need to do a financial literacy show. You saying something right here.
That part. That part. I got to bring my professional on that schools me to let him do all of that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what that is.
Yeah.
So he taught me all of this. So like a man like where do you think when you hear Master P say my granddaddy left me something? Master P would never go broke. Why? Because his granddaddy bought him a $10,000 annuity.
That's kind of like Allen Iverson, where he was losing his mind in the NBA. He went bankrupt, but a friend of his was smart enough to put up $10 million that he couldn't touch until he reached a certain age. So yeah, so everybody should tuck something away. It's just unfortunate that he didn't do it himself. He had to have somebody look out for him. Yeah.
Right. See, like we're not taught. And we'll hear $10 million. It's easier for us to come up with 10,000 versus 10 million.
Yeah.
Meaning that would be something you want to tell your sons, like your first $10,000 made, go get you an annuity. By the time you reach this age in 20 years, young man, you're a millionaire. You can quit working. And then every so often you're able to pull it down. Every so often you're able to pull it down. And see, like in my situation, not only will my granddaughters be able to pull the money down, but so will I.
Right.
Since I bought it, it cashed out both ways.
Right.
So therefore, I won't pull it down. I use my trust to purchase it. So the trust is gonna pull theirs down, pull mine down too.
Okay.
Generational wealth,
Generational
101.
wealth.
You know what I
Generational
mean?
wealth. Yeah.
So it might just give me I might catch really how it's gonna go. I might catch the tail end of when it all come in. I'll see the smiles on their face.
Yeah.
God willing. You know what I mean?
Right.
God willing, I'll see the smiles, and that'll be my ride to the crib right there.
Exactly. You have
You
done
know what
what
I'm
you
saying?
needed to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Well, hopefully they figure out who foots the bill for that expedition, and condolences to the family uh of the people that went down in the sub.
Right.
All right, sir. Well, it's about that time to roll up out. So since we started right on into the juice, and it was juicy, y'all. It was
Yeah,
juicy. I'm gonna do my black excellence, our black excellence.
that's right. Hey, before you start,
Uh-huh.
everything we talked about tonight was a parent that put their child in harm's way. People, stop doing that. Look
Ooh.
at your children as your future. Do not put them
Yeah.
in harm's way under no circumstance. The world gonna do that for you. You
Right.
don't have to do it.
Right. Oh, you said a word right there. You said a word. You right. Absolutely. It may not all have been life-threatening, but you are right. In every situation, a child was put in a situation because the parents put them there. Oh man,
We're negligent.
that's incredible, right?
Nah,
Let a child be a child. Wow.
that's it.
All right. So my first celebration is for Dr. Bernard Hodges and Terrence Ferguson. Now, these are two veterinarians, and they're also reality shows. They have a show on National Geographic called Critter Fixers. So they partnered up with PetSmart to create a pet veterinary hospital. And it's the first Black-owned veterinary hospital in Georgia.
Wow. Nice.
Yes, yes.
Yay for them.
Exactly. Because, you got to think outside the box. And that is a definite need with dealing with pets. So good. Congratulations to them. And now I want to talk about Howard University. So some of the students at Howard University have decided to petition the public for help in making their dreams come true. They are trying to relaunch the Howard University men's lacrosse team. So after 8 years, it has been 8 years since Howard had a lacrosse team. They launched a GoFundMe page. The goal of they have a goal to raise $15,000 for the lacrosse team to get it back at Howard. And they've already raised more than $4,000. So congrats to them for trying to bring this sport back to Howard. And they didn't take no for an answer. They went right after it. So good for them. And then there was one more. There's a little 9-year-old boy over in Africa who has a TikTok channel. He does computer literacy that teaches grown people how to do shortcuts on their computer or operate their computer or whatever. So his family also started a GoFundMe page to raise over $100,000 to create a place or have a space to where adults in Africa can go and get more in-person computer lessons with this young man.
Wow. You know how much money that is?
Hey.
He a billionaire now, if you didn't know.
He's making, I don't know if necessarily he's making, but he's got a check coming in. But the fact that he would spread it like that and make sure that people get computer literate, that's a blessing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially in Africa, where they may not even have the access to the technology in the first place. So good for him. So do you have, before we skate up out of here, you got any words of wisdom for us today?
I most definitely do, people, and I'm sorry for not being on my square. Look. I'm gonna need everybody. Now, this is an analogy, and apply it where you need to apply it at. Stop going to your math teacher to get the answers for an English test.
Ooh.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like me being a man, I should not ask another man how to get a woman. I should be asking a woman that question. All right? If I'm trying to learn to cook this particular meal, I shouldn't be asking nobody that don't know how to cook. I'll use my partner for example. I should be on the phone with Chef V.
Wow.
Asking her those important questions.
Wow.
So I know I'm getting the right answer. So once again, simply stop going to your math teacher trying to get an answer for your English exam.
You better preach. You better preach. That is word right there. Absolutely.
We get our information from the wrong source and get mad because it don't work.
Because it don't work. Wow. Oh, that was the word we needed for today. So on that note, y'all, we finna skate up out of here. Thanks for tuning in to Just Talking to You. And y'all, we will see you later. Have a good rest of the week.
Yeah.